Can you really live in Panama on $2,000 a month? That number sounds great, but is it real, or is it just another retirement dream being sold online? Here's the honest answer. Yes, $2,000 a month can work in Panama, but only under the right conditions. And those conditions matter. In this video, I'll show you what $2,000 a month actually gets you in Panama in 2026, where that budget can work, where it falls apart, and the common expenses that can quietly blow up your retirement plan. I'm not here to sell you a relocation tour or a dream. I spent years in mortgage and financial planning before I started traveling Latin America myself. So I look at this the way I'd look at any budget, line by line, with the numbers that actually hit your account. Let's get into it. Before we talk about where it works, let's agree on what $2,000 a month actually has to cover. Because this is where most online breakdowns cheat a little. A real monthly budget isn't just rent and groceries. It's rent, utilities, food, transportation, health coverage, phone and internet, entertainment, and the one everyone forgets, a line for the irregular stuff. Visa renewals, flights home, a dental crown, and a new laptop when the old one dies. When someone online tells you they live in Panama on $1,200, ask them what's missing from that number. Almost always, it's health insurance. And almost always, it's that irregular bucket. So for this video, $2,000 means everything. Total, all in for one person. We'll talk about couples near the end, because that math is actually friendlier than you'd expect. One more thing. Panama uses the US dollar. So there's no currency risk, no exchange rate roulette, no watching your retirement shrink because the local peso moved. For an American or a Canadian holding US dollars, that's a quiet but real advantage. Your budget means what it says. So let's start with the good news, where $2,000 a month genuinely works. And it comes down to one decision more than any other, where you live. If you choose the interior of the country, $2,000 is not just survivable, it's comfortable. Take a town like Boquete, up in the mountains near the Costa Rica border. It's the classic expat landing spot. Spring-like weather all year, a big established community, and you'll hear English in the grocery store. A one-bedroom rental there? If you're not chasing the brand new luxury builds, run somewhere in the range of $700 to $1,000 a month. Step into a smaller town nearby, Volcan, or out toward David, the regional city, and you can find rentals well under that. Here's a rough monthly picture for one person living in the interior. Rent, let's say $800. Utilities. And this matters if you're up in the mountains where you don't run air conditioning. Your power bill might be $40 or $50 a month. Groceries, eating mostly local, $300 to $400, a national health insurance plan or out-of-pocket care, and I'll come back to health in a minute. Phone and internet, maybe $60 combined. Transportation, if you're using local buses and the occasional taxi instead of owning a car, very little. Add that up, and you're sitting comfortably inside $2,000, with room left over for the forgotten bucket. That's the part that matters. It's not $2,000 stretched to the breaking point. It's $2,000 with breathing room. And the lifestyle here isn't a punishment. Fresh produce at the Saturday market for a fraction of US prices. A meal at a local spot, what they call a fonda, for $4 or $5. The pensionado discount program, which I'll explain shortly, knocks money off your everyday bills. This is a real pleasant life. People aren't suffering to hit this number. They're living well. The pattern is simple. Away from the coast, away from the capital, in a town with a local rhythm, $2,000 works comfortably. That's the honest version of the dream, and it's real. Now the part that the relocation tour videos skip, where $2,000 a month falls apart. And it falls apart in one place faster than anywhere else. Panama City. The capital is a real, modern, international city. Glass towers, great restaurants, world-class hospitals, and it's priced like one. A decent one-bedroom in a neighborhood where expats actually want to live, somewhere like El Cangrejo or Costa del Este, can easily run $1,200, $1,500, sometimes more. Right there, more than half your budget is gone before you've bought a single grocery. Then add the city's hidden multiplier, air conditioning. Panama City is hot and humid year-round. You will run AC and your power bill can jump to $150, $200 a month or higher in the worst stretches. That's 3 or 4 times what you'd pay in the mountains. The city tempts you to spend in every direction. imported groceries, restaurants, nightlife, and ride shares. But you'd be doing the thing I never want you to do, moving abroad and spending every month anxious about money. That's not freedom. That's just a smaller cage in a warmer place. Every one of those is priced closer to a U.S. city than to the Panamanian interior. Can you do Panama City on $2,000? Technically, if you find a cheaper neighborhood, skip the car and live carefully, barely. The second place it falls apart is the beach. The popular coastal areas, places like Coronado, have been discovered, and prices reflect it. Beachfront and near-beach rentals carry a premium, and you're back to running constant AC. The ocean view is real, so is the bill. And the third trap isn't a place, it's a lifestyle. If you move to Panama expecting to live exactly the way you did in the States, a car, imported brands, restaurants several nights a week, Panama will happily sell that to you. And it'll cost you nearly what it cost back home. The savings in Panama come from living somewhat like a Panamanian. The further you drift from that, the faster $2,000 disappears. So that's the real dividing line. It was never really about the country. It's about which Panama you choose and whether you adapt to it or try to import your old life into it. Now let's talk about the expenses that quietly blow up retirement plans. The ones that don't show up in the cheerful budget videos. Number 1, healthcare and insurance. Panama's private healthcare is genuinely good and far cheaper than the U.S. A doctor's visit might be $40 or $60 out of pocket, but you still need a plan for the big stuff. Some expats buy a local or international health insurance policy. Depending on your age and health, that can run anywhere from under $100 a month to several hundred. Others pay out of pocket for routine care and carry catastrophic coverage. Here's the key point for Americans. Traditional Medicare does not travel. It does not cover you in Panama. So if you were counting on Medicare to be your safety net abroad, that line needs a real number, not a hope. Build it into the $2,000 from day one, not as a surprise. Number 2, residency and visas. The good news is that Panama's pensionado visa is one of the most attractive retirement visas in the world. If you have a qualifying lifetime pension and the threshold is modest, around $1,000 a month, you can qualify, and it unlocks a real discount program, percentages off flights, restaurants, medical bills, entertainment, even utilities. That's a genuine, ongoing saving, not a gimmick. But getting there has a cost. You'll need a Panamanian immigration attorney, document authentication, and fees, a few $1,000s up front to do it properly. That's not monthly, but if you don't plan for it, it lands hard in your first year. Budget it as a one-time setup cost, separate from your monthly $2,000. Number 3, the travel home tax. Nobody puts this in the budget, and almost everybody pays it. Flights back to see family. The grandkids' graduation, a wedding, a funeral, 2 or 3 trips a year back to North America, plus what you spend while you're there, can easily add a couple of $100s a month when you spread it across the year. It's real, it's recurring, and it belongs in your plan. And number 4, the setup year. Your first year always costs more than your steady state. Furnishing a place, a deposit, mistakes, renting in the wrong town and moving again, buying things twice. I tell people to keep a separate cushion for year 1 and not judge the whole experiment by those first 12 months. The lean, comfortable $2,000 life is what you settle into after the setup, not during it. Put those 4 together, and you can see how a budget that looked fine on paper gets quietly eaten. None of them is a deal breaker. All of them are plannable. The retirees who struggle are rarely the ones who hit a surprise. They're the ones who never put these lines in the spreadsheet at all. Quick note for couples, because the math is friendlier than you'd think. The big cost, rent, barely changes for 2 people. You're splitting 1 apartment, 1 power bill, 1 internet line, food and insurance roughly double, but the housing doesn't. So 2 people living in the interior on, say, $3,000 to $3,500 together are often more comfortable per person than 1 person on $2,000. If you're planning this as a couple, the picture gets easier, not harder. So the verdict. Can you live in Panama on $2,000 a month? Yes. If you live in the interior, embrace a somewhat local lifestyle, qualify for the pensionado, and most importantly, you build a budget that includes healthcare, residency setup, and the trips home instead of pretending those don't exist. No, or at least not comfortably. If you want Panama City or the popular beaches, you want to keep your full North American lifestyle, and you skip planning for the hidden costs. The number isn't the lie. The missing lines are, when people say $2,000 doesn't work in Panama, what they usually mean is they tried to live a $3,500 lifestyle on a $2,000 budget in the most expensive part of the country. That's not Panama failing, that's a plan failing. If you want to pressure test this for your own situation, I'd do one thing this week. Take your real numbers, your pension, your social security, your health situation, and build the actual line-by-line budget before you fall in love with a town. The decision should follow the math, not the other way around. I'm building out more of these honest, numbers-first breakdowns on retiring abroad, Panama, and beyond. So if that's the kind of straight talk you want, subscribe and stick around. And tell me in the comments, what's the one expense you're most worried about getting wrong when you picture this move? Or read them and the best questions become future videos. I'll see you in the next one.